Hi, this is Ed in San Diego, and you're on Global TV Talk Show. Our special guest today is an entrepreneur, actually a genius in what he's doing now. Let's welcome Alan Brunton from Cymatic.
Hey, Ed, I am honored and just really been looking forward to this opportunity to be able to share the discoveries and the information, all the trials data that we have to be able to share with everybody to help raise the human potential.
So what we're talking about is the ear, right?
Well, that's
Hearing.
where, yeah, the hearing actually is the major function of where sound does come in. But I mean, every cell in the body is influenced by 4 environmental influences, and that's chemical, heat, light, and sound. And actually, whenever you do go to a concert and they have loudspeakers there, it's entering through the epidermis. So it's going through your cellular structure and it goes into the central nervous system. And that also then has an influence on what your brain's ability of thought and processes can handle.
Right. Sometimes that when you're in a concert like that, it can be overwhelming.
Oh, yeah. And even after the concert is over with, you are spending at least 2 hours slowing down that vibration within the entire central nervous system. But studies have showed that it could take upwards of anywhere from 24 to 36 hours for your whole body to get back to normal.
Okay. So how did you get into this? Were you a doctor?
No, I actually used to be an opera singer. And I was also
so sound is really important to you.
Very much so. But out of the box thinking environment to think outside of controlled ways of being taught is also a big influence to me. My father was an inventor, and he was an electrochemical engineer who used technology of Nikola Tesla so successfully that our federal government shut him down 3 different times. Industries sent
they were afraid of him, huh?
Well, I mean, he was undercutting what they were doing, cost, like Dow Chemical. He was producing anhydrous ammonia, which is a basic fertilizer for farming. He was undercutting their ability to produce anhydrous ammonia by 92%. So they sent a lobbyist to Washington to pass a law, or actually stick the FDA on him, and said, no, you're dealing with a food source. You've got to do trials, clinical trials, and that'll take you 6 years. And, you know, it's like, oh, no, I got a family to feed. So he went and did something else. And so all of these applications of Tesla technology that he produced from the 60s, 70s, and 80s were all just undercutting everybody at remarkable amounts. And he got shut down. So I was actually raised in an out-of-the-box thinking environment. So whenever I walked into his workshop, I would see something from my mother's kitchen, like an appliance that he had taken apart and taken a piece of it and put it into his invention. And I said, does Mom know you have that? And he was like, oh, don't tell her. You know, so, I mean, that's the way that everything in our house, actually, if it was decorative, okay, well, what else can I use it for? It's like this water bottle I've got next to me. It's very efficient, but I mean, even if I was to turn it sideways, decorate it, maybe even paint it, you know, I could use it as an animation going through a video or something. You know, who knows what, use it as a doorstop, fill it with pudding or something. It's not just a water bottle. It can do so many other things. So that's what I have done with sound. And I started getting a lot of scientific reports showing the differentiation between concert A at 440 hertz and 432, and then what the observation and the trials were showing, who was doing the trials, and the way that they did the trials. And I saw so many variables that they were not even addressing. I said, well, what happens if you do it longer than what you did it for in your trial? And so other trials show, well, there is optimal change and difference if you do it for a longer period of time. The same thing goes with subjection to white noise. I have so many clinical trials showing the detriment of your health and long-term applications of subjecting yourself to white noise, that it actually even shows probability of cardiovascular problem, that within the amyloid proteins within the nerves that catch neurotransmitters and then they calcify. Those calcifications could actually break off with the vibration of white noise that actually hits the exterior of those nerve walls and can break off and then even cause stroke or then cardiovascular heart failure.
So white noise, that is what, not invisible because it's there.
Right. And so let's define what white noise is. It is the combination of millions of frequencies all put together. So if you're looking at 432 hertz, 433 hertz, 434 hertz, now the difference between and you know, since we are doing the video, I'm sorry about that. I'm going to show you a cymatic expression of 440 hertz as compared to 432. And these are still photos taken colored water in Petri dishes. And 440 hertz is what the International Standards Organization deems that all musicians should set their standard of concert aid. They should all tune to this. Well, here's an expression of 432, which is just a little bit lower in tone, but most non-trained musicians cannot even tell the difference or replay the difference unless they are just really in tune to that. So what we have done and found out through understanding the cymatic expression, and everybody knows what cymatics are because they've seen this video where you take a stereo speaker, lay it on his back, put a metal plate on top, pour fine sand on it, turn on an amplifier and turn on a frequency generator. What you're seeing at this blob is 440 hertz, and then slowly modulated to 432, you get this geometric pattern. Well, it's not just two-dimensional, it's also three-dimensional. And what we are understanding then is, okay, so what does this mean? Well, it's showing that sound moves matter. And whenever we're talking then about the neurotransmitters that are going and giving a signal to the brain, passing from the synapse then to the dendrite and along the axons, is that these amyloid proteins are within and stuck on the cell walls of the nerves that are going up. Those proteins then will actually collect dispersed and non-formed neurotransmitters, and the energy of the neurotransmitter will dissolve and dissipate within those amyloid proteins. So what we have done is found a way to be able to identify that there are multitudes of frequencies within all digital audio that will raise your cognitive ability. And there are several frequencies that have been identified from Johns Hopkins, the Mayo Clinic, Harvard School of Medicine, MIT, and the Oxford Neurological Research Institute. And so with all of these cymatic expressions and the way that they've identified specific frequencies, we've developed software that will take any digital audio and go into the code, the 1 and 0s of the playback, and find these specific frequencies, locks onto them, and then we've created a formula to reduce a percentage of the white noise in between all of those frequencies so that these particular frequencies will travel much more efficiently, give a better signal to the brain, while the white noise is reduced, like taking your foot off the gasoline, because they don't travel as far because they dissipate the energy, so that you can have better focused attention without changing the quality of the recording.
So to what that was really a PhD in sound. So let me ask you a question about your early days as an opera singer.
Okay.
That is really sound oriented, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
the intensity, because oftentimes it's not in English and nobody knows what you're saying.
Right.
But they can sort of feel it through the intensity.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, and I'm a purist, learned from the old school that you don't amplify opera. There's been so many commercializations of people that have very small voices, but back in the golden age era of opera, there were no transformers, amplifiers, microphones that could actually do that. But the person who had learned to use the full projection of their entire body was able to carry their voice over a full orchestra and to the back of a house of 3,000 people. Well, I mean, so, that is the full projection of singing opera. And the people that I don't know, like I said, I'm just a purist about that. I didn't personally learn how to use my full voice until a very late age, which was past my prime of getting into and on the opera professional circuit. So all I did mainly was, I toured Europe a couple of times, Italy quite a few times, actually got to sing at the Vatican for Pope John Paul II. And I mean, that is
That's
still
beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
well, I mean, and that is the only recording. Well, there's a couple of other recordings, but there's a recording of me singing Amazing Grace with a choir of 50 backing me up on YouTube today, back whenever I had black hair and I was about 25 pounds lighter too.
Okay, so now the company Cymatrax.
Yeah.
What is it that you're marketing?
Okay, so Cymatrax is a combination of two words, cymatics, which I showed you about the sand and the metal plate, and then tracks is audio tracks. And what we're doing is understanding that over 5 billion people listen to digital audio every day. Well, we have a way to be able to make that digital audio healthier for the brain by way of giving people a more concise, focused of attention without the distraction. When you're driving down the road and you're looking for an address, one of the first things you do is turn down the volume on your radio. Why?
It's disruptive.
Correct. Yeah, the brain is taking in all this information. That's okay. Let's get back to white noise. The brain is so much more competent and capable than what we give it credit for. It does not recognize white noise as the word white noise. It recognizes each and every individual frequency there is. And so we're talking about 432 hertz, 433 hertz, 434. I mean, it goes on and on. And so you got millions of frequencies put together that sound like rushing water or the sound of a fan. It's all, it's the test pattern on the television. So when the brain is let's just say it's like a computer. And when you're running 3 or 4 major programs at once, everything is fine until you upload huge amounts of data. And that's exactly what white noise is. It slows down your heart rate. It slows down your respiratory. It slows down the glands in your body from producing essential chemicals because it has to take the processing power it has to be able to identify each one of these things that you're putting in there. So white noise is found inherently in all digital audio. What we're doing.
Yeah. Well, yes, what you're doing
is a reduction of the white noise while those major signals get through. And our technology does not change the quality of that recording, but now then people have more focused attention and more energy. Our largest client right now is an ongoing continuing education university based in Austin, Texas. And when people need to renew their expiring professional license, they go online, they watch this video, then they take a test. If they pass the test, then they get their license renewed. Well, we're finding out that the people that are taking the test now then are actually scoring higher than what they were a year or two ago. Plus, they're saying, I remember that training course like it was yesterday. And that's like 2 or 3 months down the road. So there is a better retention. We do have trials that our first preliminary trial with the Department of Communication Science and Disease at James Madison University just showed a positive response using our technology for the treatment of PTSD and for autism. Earlier this morning, I got off of a call with the head of research at the University of New England, where we're going to be doing larger randomized social trials up there using our technology, probably within the next couple of months. And all these grant proposals that from several different organizations are going to be just like lining up to be able to say the positive response that you're doing. Yes, let's bring this about even further and further.
Wow, that's really interesting. Fascinating. I would never think that that's a business, but it is.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, when you think about the study of the cells, everybody knows about genetics and that there's markers with the DNA, but there's also within the past 10 to 12 years, a study then called epigenetics, which is the study of on top of the genetics itself. And we understand that every single cell in the body is influenced by 4 environmental influences: chemical, heat, light, and sound. And we see then from cymatics that sound moves matter. If you're looking at quantum physics, you understand matter is nothing more than compressed energy, and it's moved into formation by sound and held there by gravity.
So to what extent, this is just an off-the-wall question here, but people who are deaf, hard of hearing.
Yeah.
Is there a play here? Is there some kind of a use?
Actually, I don't really know, because every single person is very different. We're just looking at and the research we have done. And somebody asked me about the same thing for treatment of tinnitus. And I just went, we have not even gone to look that way. Our main focus is for education, to be able to optimize people to say, look, you've got a choice to be able to lollygag around with the information that you're looking at and that you're receiving, or you can use our technology and have a better focused attention and bring that in and retain it longer. And then with that aspect onto the what I'll call the retail side or the business side, but also the trials that we have going on, that I'm going up to New England University for, is actually for studying autism. And so we can present that. And other neurologists I have spoke to about this said, well, if it works for autism, then it should work for PTSD, ADHD, stroke, dementia, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, because it's just a way of clearing out and sending a better, more efficient signal to the brain.
This has been fascinating, Alan. Thank you very much. Of course, never heard of all this before, but thank you for the education here and for speaking to our audience. So Cymatrax.com, right?
Correct. Cymatrax.com. Come to it. If you want to find out more, we actually do have a retail page there that anybody can go and create an account and start uploading files. And the way that we charge for that is $1 per minute. So if you have a 4-minute, 19-second recording of the Rolling Stones and you want that filtered, you upload it, it analyzes it, we will charge you $4.19. However, when you sign up for a new account, you get a whole first week of processing for free.
Wow.
So if you want to listen to books on audio or podcasts that you have, you can filter it through there. It only takes about 5 to 7 seconds to filter out and render a new output file that anybody can download and listen and then have a better understanding. So everybody's welcome to go to Cymatrax.com, create an account, and enjoy it and experience it for themselves.
Unique. Thank you, Alan, for being on the show. Please come back. Let's do it again.
Thanks, Ed. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks.
Thanks.